not to use bad language, didn't I?
Dave!
Again?
Yes, Miss Brown. I am sorry. Oh, David, you're stupid!
Thomas and his friends are at school. Thomas's friend David asks for the aeroplane that Thomas is playing with, but Thomas wants the plane all to himself. David then snatches the aeroplane from him, and then Thomas says that he will get David back. The teacher then catches him in the act and tells him to use polite language and not be rude. He then disobeys the orders.
Dang it!
The teacher tells him to stop being rude, but Thomas then disobeys the orders again.
Used bad language, didn't I?
Dave!
Again?
Thomas has to get time out, and when he sees David running with the aeroplane, he calls him stupid. The teacher then calls the mom. She explains that Thomas has been a very rude boy. The mom then says that she will scold Thomas properly, but she doesn't do it when Thomas gets home. When Thomas gets home, the mom asks him what he's been doing. Thomas then explains that David took the aeroplane. The mom then asks Thomas what he did to David, and then Thomas explains that he called David stupid and said dang to his teacher. The mom then tells Thomas not to use bad language, but then Thomas starts crying like a big bratty baby. The mom explains to Thomas the right thing to do. She tells Thomas that if David does something wrong, that he shouldn't call David mean names. Also, Thomas was in his school clothes, and now he's in his normal clothes. The mom tells Thomas that he shouldn't be calling David mean names, and then he asks Thomas how he'd feel if David called him stupid. Honestly, I think he is stupid because he kicked his sister in the head and hit his mom and his friends. Thomas then explains that he would feel bad if someone called him stupid, and now Thomas is in his school clothes again. Thomas and his mom promise that Thomas will not... Thomas promises to his mom that he won't be rude to David. The next day at school, David then bumps into him and Thomas is about to call him stupid again, but then David says that it's okay because what he did was an accident. Thomas and David are now best friends again. Let's summarize. Thomas wants the aeroplane all to himself, but David wants it, so he snatches the aeroplane from Thomas. Thomas then proceeds to tell David that he will get him back. The teacher then catches him in the act, but then Thomas says the word dang twice. Thomas gets time out, and when he sees David with the aeroplane, he calls him stupid. The teacher then calls the mom, and then Thomas explains to the mom what happened. When his mom tells him to not use bad language, Thomas then starts crying like a big bratty baby. And it's only when the mom tells Thomas that he can't be rude to people and that he should imagine how it would feel if David called him stupid that Thomas decided to promise to his mom that he won't insult David again. He was about to call David stupid in the end, but then Thomas decided that he's best friends with David. Thomas can be put in his place.